everybody, Nico Wexler. We've got a 2022 Polaris 650 Matrix here. We're just going and putting a zbroz front bumper on it for those days when we're getting close to the trees. I've already started assembling it, but there was a few things that wasn't the clearest about it, and so I figured I'd just take and make a video about it real quick. If you come over to the sled here with me, you got the stock bumper in here. There's just a few things that you need to take off. You got a T40, and you take these two bolts off right here. There's one on each side, and then you got to pull your belt clip off right here for your spare belt and your spark plugs. And then you've got a 10mm that sits back in here. You've got this ground wire that is going to need to be put back on, so don't forget about that. On this side, it goes right here, and then there's also a spring clip that you need to pull off as well. And then there's one up here in the front center that you'll pull off that just holds everything together. Once you get all that stuff, it just pops off pretty simple like that. Set that to the side. And then we can come over here to the new zbroz bumper. I opted to go for a raw color just because the rest of my sled is going to be kind of a raw color as well. They send you with 3 bolts that are a little bit longer, a aluminum spacer, some longer rivets, and then a bunch of shorter rivets. Okay, your shorter rivets are all going to go up here to assemble your bumper itself. Your longer rivets are going to go in to the bottom, and we'll get to that in a little bit. It takes 4 rivets to put this bash plate on, and then 4 rivets to put these aluminum eye bolts in the back of them. Once you get those on, step over here, and another thing that they recommend doing is taking just like a little razor knife and trimming just a tiny bit here like this, and that just helps this heavy duty bumper fit in a little bit better. And then once you get that trimmed out and the bumper assembled, you slide it into place just like that. And then we'll grab those longer bolts that they sent with us, and at this point you'll need your nuts off of the old bolts, as well as the spring tab for your pipe, and your 2 T40s for the front. And then your these longer ones that they sent will go through the back here. Alright, so here we are. We've got the bumper all tightened down and the bolts all done up. Starting on this side, just again, don't forget that ground wire back there. I found it a little easier to take and hook this bolt to a magnet and then kind of push it through with the magnet. It is kind of a tight spot to get it in. The magnet just seemed to make it a little bit easier for me. Up here on this front bottom one, your little aluminum spacer goes right down in there to keep the distance between the skid plate and the actual machine itself. These 2 holes right here for these T40s are not threaded. You just want to take, before you put the bumper on, use your T40s to make sure you thread that hole nice and straight so that they fit the way they're supposed to. You do that on both sides, and then the instructions weren't perfectly clear on which side of the bumper tab to put the spring hook on. Mine is bent just a hair, as you can see right there, so I opted to put it on the outside so that my spring wasn't rubbing on my pipe. And then I got everything all tightened down, and now it's nice and solid.
So here's a little trick if you forget to pull your rivets out of your nose pen before you put your bumper on. You can use a screwdriver to pry on the back side and you can go right through those holes right there. And you can hopefully get lucky. So luckily we did, and if you end up catching this too late too, then you can do the same.
Alright guys, so we got the bumper all tightened up, got the hood and the panels put back on, flipped it on its side so we could install the skid plate that we ascend with. One thing to mention again is to make sure that you get these two rivets out before you install the bumper. If not, you can drill right through and hopefully get to them if you're lucky. You also have to drill out 8 other rivets. This one, these 4, and then these 2 as well. And then to install the skid plate, you slip it under the bumper right there, and then just start lining up holes with these longer rivets that they have sent with.
All right, walk us through it.
Alright, so it took us a second to get it on there. The easiest way we found to do it was to line up these first 2 and then work your way back. And again, you're just replacing the 10 rivets that you drilled out before you put that skid plate on. There's just another extra added layer of protection that zbroz has given us so that we can stay safe on the snow.